Hello and welcome back to the Cricket Draft Show. We've got the T20 Blast. It is still going. We've got more cricket to happen over the course of the weekend. We've got game week 6 for the men's, just to make things extra simple. Game week 7 for the women's to talk about, which starts this afternoon at 2:30. So hopefully we can give you a few nuggets of information there, which you can then put into your team for game week 7. My name is Dan Jadzovic. I'm joined again, as usual, by our analyst and expert, Dan Weston. We've got some cricket to talk about, Dan.
Mate, loving life at the moment. I think I've caught up with you quite a lot in the men's, and your lead is dwindling, and in the women's, running away with it, 43rd in the week last week.
Yeah, I think I'm finishing second in the women's game. The men's game, I've still got a bit of a lead, but we all know the glory is in the county championship, Dan, don't we? That's where the heritage is. That's where the tradition is. Don't forget to drop us a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, drop us a comment as well. Comments will help massively with the engagement, the algorithms here. So let us know how your team is doing in the different competitions. Let us know which players you've enjoyed. Let us know anything you want really about the cricket draft game. We'd love to hear from you. And also as well, if you are interested in a cricket draft version of the One Day Cup, it's currently a post on X at the moment. It's the pinned post. If you want to go and give that a little like and a little repost, that'll just give the team, the boffins, the gerbils, the hamsters behind the scenes at the cricket draft a little bit more of encouragement to go and make that game for you later on this summer. So that would be massively helpful. But let's have a look and let's start at the men's game. Then we'll get to the women's game. We've got some news from the South Group. It's the fact that Somerset have already qualified for the quarterfinals. That's the 5th time in a row. Surrey look good. Hampshire look good. And then there's just a little bit of a Glamorgan, Sussex, Kent kind of battle there. North Group, Northants, I mean, they started 6 on the bounce and then they've proceeded to lose 5 in a row. They do play tonight, which I think could have a big impact on whether they do or don't clinch that quarterfinal berth. But Durham and Lancashire look absolutely perfect. The Birmingham Bears have 24 points. The Steelbacks have 24 points. And the Foxes also have 24 points. Out of those groups, Dan, who do you think are making it through based on your work?
So first of all, before I go on to that, credit to Somerset, 5 times in a row into the quarterfinals. That absolutely stacked batting lineup, and then usually a couple of overseas pacers has been a formula that's worked really well for them, and fair play to them for having a coherent plan and sticking to it, which has done them really, really well. In terms of, for me, who I think are going to qualify, it's a tough one, isn't it? You think Surrey would be through in the South Group with a game in hand and second place. Hampshire had a couple of good results in the last couple of days, which has put them right up in contention. I think they went from 6th or 7th to 3rd. The game between Sussex and Kent on Wednesday night, I think, was a nail biter. Joey Everson got Kent over the line, and if he hadn't have done that, Sussex would be right up there in equal third with 2 games in hand, and Kent would be out. So he's kept that South Group close almost single-handedly. I think he got about 48 off 24 balls to win Kent that game in a low scorer. And then in the North Group, Durham have sneaked up to the top, right? And that's completely flown under my radar. Lancs, I think we're going to talk about in a little bit in terms of that Galactico squad that's now available. And Bears have had an up and down season. Northants have had a very up and down season, but in one block. And Dan, obviously, is our resident Northants expert. I vaguely remember this happening to them a couple of years ago as well. Do you have a memory of that?
Yeah, certainly was the case. And even last year, they had a period of time where winning games of cricket was really difficult. They then managed to win 2 big ones on the bounce, didn't they? The last 2 games against Birmingham and Lancashire to get that home quarterfinal. So they certainly feel like a momentum team, and they play Derbyshire tonight in the back end of game week. Was it game week 5, isn't it, of the men's game? No, game week 6 of the men's game.
Yeah.
So yes, I think tonight could be very, very important for them. And I think if they can win one, and I think they've only needed to win one more to get a quarter-final. I think it's probably 28 points would be enough to get through. That would take them up to that with those 4 points for that win. So fingers crossed for Steelbacks fans, and fingers crossed for owners of David Willey and people that have captained David Willey through the course of the cricket draft as well, that they do make it through. Next week, though, we have triple game weeks to contend with. We've got, who have we got? We've got Middlesex and Yorkshire. They've both got triple game weeks. Are we in a position now, Dan, with 1 week left of the regular season to write them off? Or maybe if you've got them in your squad already, maybe keep them. But are you bringing them in?
It's really tough, actually. I'd be super reluctant to pick any players from probably 5 teams: Gloucester, Middlesex, Essex, Yorkshire, Derbyshire, unless they represent short-term outstanding options for reasons such as great value in terms of the price point, so they enable me to pick someone else, and obviously they've got that triple game week potentially, but it's certainly a tough one to as a sell, because you've got to have a mind on the knockouts, and yes, you do get four free transfers ahead of the knockouts, but it's I'd rather not take a penalty transfer if I can avoid it, and I would if I had to, but I think I can avoid it with good planning.
Yeah, I mean, you will get those 4 free transfers, as you said. You'll also still get those 3 penalty ones if you want to use them. They'll cost you 75 points. But as we've spoken about across the course of this series, 75 points in one game is quite a challenge to actually make up, isn't it? It's not a case of a championship game where you can get 2 innings, you open the batting twice, you take the new ball twice, whatever that looks like. It's quite difficult to make up those 75 points. So yes, I think forward planning here for the knockouts is quite important. Other teams that you could look at that have got 3 game weeks that do look like they could get there. Durham have got 3 this week or next week. Lancashire Lightning have 3. Surrey have 3. Sussex Sharks have 3. And a little bit of an outside bet that the Leicestershire Foxes have 3 games as well next week. So there are some teams there that you could look to invest in now and then look to take them through to the quarterfinals. And I'm sure, Dan, that there are players there that you've already been looking at.
Yeah, so my priority probably will be on Durham, Lancs and Surrey, given that they've got 3 matches and are as certain as they can be at this stage that they're going to go through. I probably wouldn't transfer out players from Leicester, for example, with three matches and could qualify. I think Sussex are in that bracket as well. I've got Sussex players and Leicester players at the moment. I think definitely good for you Sussex players, because they've had a good coverage of game weeks and obviously got those games in hand. I wouldn't be transferring them out necessarily, but I would be fingers crossed that they're going to win those matches to make my life a lot easier come knockout stages.
And are those players are they going to be one of the big boys, Dan, that you're gonna look at to bring into your team? Maybe an Adam Zampa, Chris Lynn, Josh Butler, Phil Salt. Who else is kicking around at the moment? Liam Livingston, Ashton Turner, Chris Green, Saqib Mahmood, James Anderson. I mean, that's just Lancashire. And then you look at Surrey's side. I tell you what, if you put Lancashire and Surrey at the moment at their strongest 11s into a World T20 tournament, they're certainly not finishing last, are they? They're phenomenal 11s.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I had the foresight to bring in Phil Salt when he got back into the team, and he's done really, really well. It took a stunning catch from Rob Yates to get rid of him the other day. I don't know if you saw that one. Unbelievable catch in the boundary. I would be cautious about bringing in Livy into your squads, because there's an injury concern there. So I would swerve that one. But certainly, I mean, like Butler and Salt look good options for Lancs. Salt's had the edge so far since they came in. Adam Zampa should be a cheat code, I would say, in this comp as well. So if you can afford a good leggy who only does one thing, that's probably as good a way you can spend your money.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, to go with that, Will Jacks has come into the blast. Sam Curran's playing. Laurie Evans is now taking the gloves. Chris Jordan, of course. Tom Curran is there, one of the fan favourites from the Big Bash earlier this year, one of those high match involvement players. But an honourable mention about Nye Donald. I mean, he plays for the Derbyshire Falcons. They're rock bottom of the North Group and would go completely against what we were talking about with regards to bringing players in that aren't going to make it through to the quarterfinals. But Nye Donald is the 3rd highest point scorer in the Blast competition in 2025 with just over 1,000 points. Has got 3 ducks. I think he got a 13 ball 50 the other day. Why haven't many people picked him? Why haven't we spoken about Nye Donald to that extent so far this year?
Well, I think I have, in terms of, I mentioned about that boundary percentage a couple of weeks ago that was off the charts. And he's shown, I think he's had 450s of around 20 balls or less, which is going to be incredible for point scoring. And I'm a big fan of Nye. We've recruited him at Phoenix last year. We retained him for this year, and I texted him the other day and said, "Make sure you save some runs for us." And it's he's been absolutely outstanding. But as you say, a bit of a feast or famine type player sometimes in this game, where he could get an absolute ton of points, but as you say, 3 ducks as well. When you've got 3 games in a game week, though, maybe that variance gets smoothed out a little bit. So, but really good option, I think, for TCD owners.
Yeah, just one other thing, Dan, before we start talking about leaderboards. The top 10 wicket takers are all pace bowlers.
Yeah, makes sense.
It does, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Because they bowl primarily in power play and at the death, where there's lower balls per wicket in those phases. Whereas spinners, it's not an exclusive thing, but they do tend to do the bulk of their work in the middle overs, where teams take less risks and therefore take shot options which are less driven to dismissals. So, for example, broadly speaking, if you play a slog shot, you're out every 4 slogs. The average player is out every 4 slogs they play. They don't slog much in the middle overs, but they do slog a lot of the death overs. So that's why the pacers tend to take the wickets at the death. Cheap wickets, but they all count the same in TCD.
There you go. Ditch your spinners, bring your pacers in. Looking at the leaderboard, Dan, I currently have, about 350, 400 point advantage over you at the moment,
Yep.
at the top of our kind of mini league. But we won't dwell on that because nobody's that interested. Let's talk about the people at the top of the game overall. And it's Liam Evenden at the moment who's top of the leaderboard. 12,424 points, just has about 300 odd point lead above Nick French in second, and then Paul Ellard in third. It's pretty close though, all the way down to the top 10. You've got this is a great team name, Never Gonna Give Rue Up for Carl Seed down in 10th place with 11,697 points. So, I mean, for us two personally, Dan, we are a long way, about 2,000 points behind the top of the league there for myself.
Well, there's plenty of examples of guests maybe we can get on from future episodes. Some great names there as well. Never going to give Rue Up from Carl, as you say, but Somerset have given Rue Up this season, and he hasn't played in the comp. Liam Evenden with it's about 250 point lead at the top of the table. His name is The Sharks Are Sinking. Well, I'm with 3 Sussex players in my squad, and the chances of qualifying, I'm hoping that they don't sink over the next few weeks. And Nick French's current cricket club must be very, very happy with Sam's and Tom's performances of late.
I think so. What about players, Dan? Who are you bringing in, or who are you getting rid of? I mean, I know I'm kind of looking at Isaac Mohammed, Ben Kellaway, Calvin Harrison, Chris Woods. They're my kind of players that are on the block, and then I will, as we've already spoken about, stick to that trend of looking for your Lancashires, your Surreys, your Durhams, those kind of players.
Yeah, it's going to be completely team focused for me, mate. It's going to be Durham, Lancs, Surrey. I think I've already got 3 Lancs players in my squad already. I think I've got Luke Wood, Phil Salt, and Luke Wells. So that seems like that won't change. Surrey, I think I've got Evans. Durham, I'm not sure if I've got anybody. So there's some scope there for me to look at focusing on teams who have got 3 matches in this game week and are as certain as can be at this stage to go through. So that's going to be my plan, but I can't give you names because I don't know them myself.
A busy week ahead. Well, thank you for listening to that part. Stick around because we are just about to move on to the preview for the next week for the women's side of the Vitality Blast. So please drop us a like on the video. Again, as I've said, comment, let us know how you're getting on in this competition. Let us know which players have impressed you. Let us know who's been your signing of the season. But the race for third place has got a bit tighter over the last couple of weeks down when we had that week off. It's kind of a bit of a 3-way fight now between Lancashire, the Bears and Hampshire. It's who are you thinking gets through to that other qualifying spot?
Well, I think that still the Bears have the advantage really for this because they've got a 3-point gap over Lancashire Thunder, and I think if Bears' recent results have been tough, but they fought so well with a depleted squad. They've lost a lot of players to England. I think Harris Pavley to injury as well. So basically, they went with a 4-spin attack against Surrey recently in the last game, and they almost got it through. They almost won, and I think that they're in pole position, especially when you look at the net run rate advantage that they have over the Lancashire Thunder and the Hampshire Hawks, who are the other two teams fighting for that third spot. So advantage Bears, but let's see.
Maybe invest in those Bears players going forward. The top 10 for the people that are playing it, pretty close actually. The top of the leaderboard, 8,684 points, is James Clemens. And you go all the way down to 10th, 8,166 points. So it's a pretty tight kind of bunch there. There's about, 500 points between 1st to 10th. Pretty even split throughout, with Jack Dyer in at second place with 8,633 and Finn Watkinson 8,500 from there. But Dan, I mean, I've struggled with this, I'll be honest with you. I've struggled with international call-ups. I've struggled with England A call-ups. I've struggled with transfers. I've struggled with this game. You've got some catching up to do to the top 10. You're 6,984 points at the moment. You're absolutely demolishing me.
It requires a lot of alarm setting. So obviously with the women's game starting earlier in the day and having different game weeks and stuff, I have this array of alarms on my phone, sort of 30 minutes before the start of a game week, that has really helped me. Otherwise, I would 100% forget to do transfers or do it or remember at the wrong time or something like that. So yeah, recommend that definitely. My alarm function on my iPhone has never been used so much.
It's busy at the moment. It's busy. Here's some things though for game week 6 that may or may not help you build your squad of 15, squad of 14 to put together with who might be available, who might not be available, and just some things that you could find helpful. So I'm going to be listening to this all the way back through. The players who played against New Zealand A are back in contention. So there's a good tick in the right box for those of you that have had those players that have missed those game weeks, that have had international duties. The balance between bat and ball in the women's game is pretty even, to be fair, Dan, isn't it? 5 batters and wicket keepers, 8 all-rounders and 7 bowlers are all in the top 20 of the point scorers. So there isn't that high match. Well, there is the focus, but it doesn't seem to be quite as important for those high match involvement all-rounders in the women's game yet.
Yeah, I still think that there is when you pick the right players. Certainly, I mean, like, I've gone heavy on those players. I've got the likes of Elise Perry, Catherine Bryce, Heather Graham in my teams, and I'm looking for that ultra high match involvement from those type of players. But there's still great value to be had, and we're going to go and talk about them with some sort of under the radar picks under that 6 million mark, who can be really strong contributors to your team, but also enable you to pick those big names as well.
Yeah, you mentioned ultra high. I've got some catching up to do. I'm sure a lot of other people have as well. If you're going to look ultra high and you're going to try and make up some serious points, what kind of players can we talk about, Dan, with kind of ridiculously high strike rates, whether that was with bat or with ball?
Yeah, well, I think you've hit the nail on the head really really effectively in saying that 5 batters, 8 all-rounders, 7 bowlers in the top 20 is it's about as even a distribution as you're going to find. So in terms of the positions, I would say that's not so much of a deciding factor. But for me, there's two key elements that you've got to think about if you want to catch up positions. One is the amount of matches in the game week. So if you can maximise the amount of games in the game week that your players are available, then that's always going to be a good thing. And the second thing is, if you're going to make up positions, you need differentials. So it's no good you picking a player who's picked by 40-50% of owners, because you'll end up just earning points the same as them. I mean, like in the men's, for example, I had Tom Kohler-Cadmore, and he got cracking knock, and I thought, I must have caught up on Dan. And then I saw you had him in your team as well. So,
he's been in there for a while, Dan.
So it was, that's what I mean. You need differentials if you want to catch up.
Yeah, and that's certainly what I need to do. So I'll be getting my thinking cap on once I'm editing this video and seeing who I can bring into the team. Because as I say, the next game week starts at 2:30 this afternoon. Some fantastic value options, and we spoke about them the last time we recorded, didn't we? But we've got Elisa Lister 5.6 million, Esme McGregor 5.4 million, and Millie Taylor at 4 million. But as you said, they are very highly selected by the DOCs because one, they're doing incredibly well, and two, because they are some pretty good prices. But then because of that, it does free up your ability to sign a Catherine Bryce or an Amanda Jade Wellington or a Grace Harris or a Susie Bates to add into that team. Final thing, Dan, really, with regards to who's coming into these 11s or into our squads for the final game week before we go into the knockouts, is are you backing the big quality players? Like Sarah Glenn, for example, who's had a bit of a slow start. Is she going to come good? Or do you keep looking at someone like Phoebe Franklin, who scored more points in the last 3 games than what she did in her first 7? What kind of moves are you going to be making here?
Oh, that's a trade secret. But no, Sarah Glenn could be a really good option because obviously we know her quality over a number of years, and you don't lose that in a short period of time, even though she's had a slow start. And if you've got a demand for a differential, then owned by just 2.7% of players makes her a good pick. So I expect her to be in your team, Dan, next week, this coming week.
See if I've got any pennies behind the back of the sofa for this.
And you can see from the most released list of players that Lister, McGregor are being released, but that's mainly down to the fact that Essex and Lancs have only got that one fixture in this game week, rather than any kind of comment about their ability. It was interesting to see Lauren Winfield Hill actually at Essex is in the most signed and the most released players. So a lot of people with mixed opinions about how she's going to fare in this game week coming up.
Yeah, it's tough. And I suspect as well there'll be a lot of directors of cricket here looking to build these teams for the knockouts as well. Obviously, you can only have, what can you have? You can have 5 players from each squad. Obviously, 3 going through. So if you are looking to kind of build that up and without using too many penalty transfers for the knockouts, then that's something that you might have to look at. But is there a name, Dan, that you're tempted by this week, or are you keeping those close to your chest at the moment? You've got less time to make a decision on this one.
I've got the alarm set already. So my problem is that I've got 3 Lancs players in my team at the moment. I've got 3 Blaze players in my team, and I want to maximise Surrey and Blaze players because they're through or as good as through, and obviously they still have 2 games in this game week. So it'll be probably the 3 Lancs players I'll move out. I do have Emma Jones on the bench from Surrey, so that could be an option. But whether she's going to play now the England players are back, I don't know. So that would be if I do pick her in the team, I definitely want to cover in terms of that all rounder on the bench to make up for if she doesn't play. But I think Surrey and Blaze players, I probably wouldn't be averse to Bears players as well, if necessary. But definitely half an eye on the knockouts and how that my team might shape up after the knockouts for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us through the course of this episode. There's some plenty of things for you to digest there. Plenty of help that we hope that we've given you to build your squads up for the next game week and then the knockouts. And as I said, if you can drop us a comment, like the video for us, subscribe to the channel, let us know how you're getting on. We want to know how the viewers are getting on. We want to know if any of this has been of any help to you. Have we given you a player, Dan? Have we shared information that's made somebody pick them into the team and they've done really well? That's what we want to know.
Well, judging by our positions in the league overall, I mean, they're not too bad, but compared to some of the top guys, I think we'll probably anyone who followed us might not be overjoyed, but they might be okay with it. But let's see. You never know.
We've spoken about enough players, though, haven't we?
100%.
Anyway, right. Let's see you soon. We'll see you back for the knockouts, won't we? That will be the next episode we do. That'll be a lot of planning. And good luck for the next game week.